When you're not strong, I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. Oh, it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Hello, I'm here to tell you the story we're going to be thinking about with Messy Church this month. We can't meet together, so we're going to send you some different activities each week that you can join in with that are all to do with the story we're thinking about today, which is another parable. We're thinking about parables this year in our Messy Church. Now, normally when we're together, I get you to help me tell the stories, but we can't be together, so I've got some of my toys here to help me tell the story. Don't be surprised if some of them look a little bit unexpected sorts of characters. I'm sure you will get the point. So, somebody came to Jesus and talked about how they could please God. And he said, well, you should love God with all that you are and your neighbour as yourself. But the man said to him, and who is my neighbour? So Jesus told this story to explain who our neighbour is. There was a man who was walking down a road all the way from one city called Jerusalem to Jericho. It was quite a dangerous road and known for sometimes having robbers on it. And on this day there were robbers on it. They came out of nowhere and they came up to the man, they surrounded him and they punched him and they kicked him and they threw him on the road and they robbed him and they took everything and they ran off. So our man in our story is lying by the side of the road and he's hurt and it's hot and he doesn't feel very well. Fortunately, another man comes along the road. He's a very holy man and he's on his way to Jericho to do some work there. He sees the man in the road, but he says, oh dear, I'm a very holy man and I have a very important job to do and I can't afford getting myself all dirty and covered in this man's blood. So I am going to just have to go past and go on my way to Jericho without helping him. Oh dear, the man said, I thought he might help me. But fortunately, he didn't have to wait too long before someone else came along. Now, this man was a very important man. He was going to Jericho on important business, and he came down and he saw the man in the road and he said, oh dear, this poor chap, he doesn't look very well, but I'm a very important man and I have a very important job to do in Jericho and I haven't got the time to stop and help him today. I'm just going to have to go past and go on my way to Jericho. And off he went. Oh dear, the man just felt worse and worse. He hurt all over his body and he was hot and thirsty and hungry. He thought, no one's going to help me. I'm going to die by the side of this road. After quite a long time, he heard another sound. Trip, trop, trip, trop, trip, trop, trip, trop. There was someone else coming down the road on his horse. The man thought, I wonder if he'll help him. Now this man was a Samaritan, and Samaritans and the people that Jesus was telling the story to didn't get on. In fact, the people Jesus was telling the story to thought a Samaritan the last person in the world who would stop and help the injured man by the road. But they were wrong, because the man saw him and his heart went out to him. He said, oh no, this poor man, he's by the road all by himself. Something terrible's happened to him. He went up and spoke to him. He helped him to sit up. He looked after him. He bound up his wounds. He gave him something to drink and he put him on his horse and took him off to find somewhere for him to stay. Took him to an inn and he knocked on the door and the innkeeper came out. Please, will you look after this man? He's been beaten up on the road and he needs someone to give him a bed and a good meal. Here's some money and look after him till he's better. And if he needs any more than I've given you money for, I'll pay you next time I come back. So the man went inside with the innkeeper, and he was looked after until he was better. Now, the Good Samaritan had done a wonderful thing, hadn't he, looking after that poor man. So he got up on his horse. He still had something to do in Jericho too. And he went off and he carried off on his journey, having helped the man. So Jesus said to all those who were listening to the story, who was the good neighbour to the man in the road? And they all said, the one who showed him mercy. And Jesus said, yes, that's right. You go and do the same, because that's what a good neighbour looks like. You see, a good neighbour might be a friend or a member of our family, but it might be someone we don't know. It might be somebody who we don't even like. The Good Samaritan's a really good story for us at this time when we've got all of the problems with the coronavirus and we have to stay home. And we're reminded that we have to look after each other and that others are looking after us, which is great. We've got doctors and nurses doing amazing work in our hospitals. But we all need to do our part too, don't we, and stay at home. But sometimes we might be the ones that need a bit of help because perhaps sometimes we're a bit frightened or worried about what's going on. And perhaps we don't understand and we don't quite know what it all means. And we need someone to look after us. So sometimes we need someone to be a good neighbour to us, as well as us be kind to others. And that's okay. That song I was humming when we started, Lean on Me, it talks about us needing to look after each other because sometimes we're the ones that need help and sometimes we're the strong ones. So as we think about this story at this time, we're going to have activities that help us to think about helping others and allowing others to help us. Let's finish with a prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you that we are learning all sorts of things at this time about how to look after each other. Help us as we think about the story of the Good Samaritan to learn ways of looking after our neighbours. Amen. Hope you enjoy all the Messy Church activities. Please do send us some pictures of what you managed to make and do. We'd love to see them and share them with each other. Bye for now.